we concluded the killer app for a Bitcoin treasury company is to issue credit. Bitcoin, Bitcoin-backed equity, that's the first app. And yeah, you can do that for a while. But the long-term durable business is to issue BTC-backed credit instruments and issue billions and then tens of billions and then hundreds of billions. And you're not competing against other Bitcoin treasury companies. You're competing against every junk bond sold by every company with no money, every corporate bond sold by an investment grade company. And guess what? We're more collateralized than the best investment grade companies issuing corporate bonds. We have better collateral. So we're competing against corporate bonds, investment grade bonds, junk bonds, private credit, and then against preferred stock in that market. And the idea is we're just going to sell something that is more credit worthy, less risky, better collateralized, that yields more, that's more liquid, that everybody understands. And ultimately the goal is instead of a market of 1,000 preferred stocks with 500 million in the float each that are illiquid, that are garbage, how about one preferred stock with $50 billion in the float that trades $2 billion a day, that yields more, that everybody's heard of, that's backed by Bitcoin?
Back to the channel. That was Michael Saylor telling you what the long-term vision is for these Bitcoin strategy companies, what the end goal is and how they can be successful. So in today's video, I'm gonna be getting into strategy, Bitcoin treasury companies, some Bitcoin updates. So stay tuned for everything in today's video. Subscribe, like, we have new content coming out every single day. Aaron from Bitcoin Bros here. You can see, Saylor says in 21 years, you'd wished you'd had bought more BTC. Right now, this is just showing that Saylor has bought Bitcoin over the past week. My prediction is they bought around $100 million. They're not really hitting the MSTR ATM anymore. They have been hitting STRK and STRF ATM. I'm sure they're going to get the STRD ATM up and running very soon. So I think we're going to see more of those vehicles. I'm thinking around $100 million this week from STRK and STRF. Leave your prediction in the comment section below. And then some FUD here. Just MicroStrategy President and CEO Phong Le has sold a majority of his MSTR stock over the past 3 months. And then another director dumped 70% of their MicroStrategy stock over the past couple of weeks as well. So MSTR directors may be losing the vision or long-term vision of MSTR, or this could potentially just be FUD. They could be selling for tax reasons or because they have to pay debt or any other reasons. Could be potential FUD, but this is something that you should watch out for, what the insiders are doing with their stock. While strategy is continuing to buy Bitcoin, some people on the board are selling. So that's just something to take note of, not spreading FUD or anything, but that is the facts. And if we look at the most actively traded US stocks, you can see strategies up here in the top 15 again. This was on Friday at around $7 billion of total active traded volume. It's always good to see that MicroStrategy is always in the top 20 companies in the US with active traded volume. That means there's a lot of demand for the stock. So that's great to see there. And then if we look at where they're currently rated on the top market cap companies in the United States, they're at 94 with a $107 billion market cap at 383. We could potentially open on Monday green. Bitcoin has gone up over the weekend, so hopefully we can get a green candle for MSTR. And the big news is here tomorrow. If Bitcoin closes the end of the day tomorrow above $97,000, MicroStrategy will qualify for the S&P 500. That doesn't mean they're automatically added because there's a board that has to approve them and they go through an entire process, but we could see strategy be included in the S&P 500 over the next 6 months, but it could take up to a year, but they qualify now. So that is really good to see. And once that does happen, you'll see some front running on the stock. You'll see the stock price go up. Just look at it, see what happened with Coinbase. That's probably what we'll see with strategies. So it's really interesting to see that some of these people on the strategy board are selling their strategy stock, knowing that MicroStrategy is probably going to be included in the S&P 500 very soon. So there weren't a lot of updates from the Bitcoin treasury companies over the weekend here. The weekend is normally pretty quiet, but we had a pretty big update from Vanadi Coffee. They had their shareholder meeting. This is something we talked about in some of our previous videos in our live stream, but now they were approved to raise up to 1 billion euros to buy Bitcoin. That was approved, and then they bought another 34 Bitcoin, more than doubling their stack, almost tripling their stack over the weekend. So this is only around a $12 million market cap company. So on Monday's open in Spain, you could definitely see Vanadi Coffee have a nice green candle to the upside as they've almost tripled their Bitcoin over the weekend. So watch out for Vanadi Coffee. This is one we have been telling you guys about. This is a potential company if they do adopt the Bitcoin treasury strategy, and if they do execute how Saylor has executed in the US and how MetaPlanet has executed, you could get in early and get some big gains. Obviously, that is not financial advice, but from Steve Platts here over on Twitter, he did some digging into Vanadi, and he saw that nice bonuses were approved for management of euro around 2 million when the market cap goes over 100 million. Which means that they'll be selling potential shares back into the market. So some people on the board may be selling once the market cap goes up. They may be doing this. A lot of people around the world may be adopting Bitcoin just to enrich themselves. So you have to be careful with that when investing in these companies. And he's also saying that there's not clear communication. The CEO is not on Twitter. The company doesn't have a lot of statements out there as of yet. They are still very new in the Bitcoin strategic reserve strategy process. Everything is in Spanish right now, and all that could change in the future because it is still very early. We just have to see how they progress with the strategy. So this is a potential high risk, high reward play here. Not financial advice, but do your own research, invest at your own risk if you are looking at Vanadi Coffee. And then an update from BD Multimedia. They acquired another 10 Bitcoin over the weekend. So they've more than tripled the Bitcoin that they had. They went from around 3 to 4 Bitcoin to almost 15 BTC. So they have accumulated a lot more Bitcoin over the weekend. So BD Multimedia, we'll see if they continue to buy more Bitcoin. But if they do, that would definitely be good for the company and for Bitcoin. And we have a smaller company, Albraz Restaurants Group. They acquired 2 Bitcoin. And now they hodl just 7 BTC. So definitely good to see there. More and more companies buying Bitcoin for the long term. And then we have BitDeer Official. This is a Bitcoin miner. They're now holding over 1,480 Bitcoin. The Bitcoin output that they had over the past week was 48. That's how much they mined. They had to sell 7.8 Bitcoin, but they added 40.3 Bitcoin into long-term storage. So this is something that we've been telling you guys. Even a lot of the miners that are mining Bitcoin, they are not selling their BTC. They're putting it in cold storage for long-term hodlings like these companies are doing. So when they say there's 450 Bitcoin that are mined today, that is true. But a lot of these miners are not selling their Bitcoin. They have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, just like the rest of these other companies out there. And this is a tweet that we saw from Ragnar over on Twitter. And I think the Bitcoin bros, we agree with this a lot. MTPLF, MetaPlanet, is a baby strategy. AltBG and SWC are baby MetaPlanets. And then you have H100, which is a baby AltBG or SWC. I agree with what Ragnar is saying here. Time will tell if these companies will execute or not. The strategy is very easy. Buy the Bitcoin, don't sell the Bitcoin, don't dilute your shares too much, don't dilute your shareholders. Make sure the Bitcoin per share continues to go up. And I think these companies will be fine, especially with buying the hardest asset in the world. That's not financial advice, that's just my opinion there. But also to add to this list, I do believe with Vanadi being the first Bitcoin treasury company in Spain, if they can come out and do what Strategy has done, what MetaPlanet has done, what some of these other companies have done, Vanadi Coffee could be the MicroStrategy of Spain. We just have to wait and see. So this is a list that we agree with. We like all these companies, and obviously they're buying the hardest asset in the world. So have a long-term approach when getting into these companies. There was a video at the end that I shared from Adam Bagg in 2 videos ago on our channel. If you go to the end of the video, you'll be able to see it. It's basically Adam Bagg saying that he likes to get into these Bitcoin strategy companies early because of the month to cover. And if you don't know what month to cover is, dive a little bit deeper into that, and you can kind of understand why getting into these companies early is so important. Can't go into it in today's video because that'll be a whole new video just to explain that. So let me know what you guys thought about everything in today's video. Really appreciate you if you stuck around to the end. Make sure to hit that like button if you found any value. Subscribe. We have new content coming out every single day. Live streams on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Aaron from Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. See you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.